he wanted to pay me in Nook Mile tickets.
Nook Mile tickets.
Like,
so he wanted to play you in Animal Crossing currency, basically.
yes, he.
While we're getting started, I am wearing the Absurd Parrot.
Yes.
Nobody knows. Grae here is a very talented, amazing artist who made all of my, and I even put it on at the sleeve. I got the art. It actually, it's I've watched this multiple times, and like the quality. They do a good job with the prints, which is why I chose that company. And we also got
it looks good.
The mugs. I love the two-tone colors.
Yes.
Love the two-tone colors.
Yeah, like this was like such a good idea.
And then there you go. The OG. Got to show the OG because I love this one. But the weird thing is, like you'll notice, I'm drinking out of a regular mug because I don't want to ruin the other. I'm just like, no, it's got to stay perfect.
Oh yeah, I know. Like I rarely use this one because like when I wash it and I leave it in the sink for too long, it gets rusty, and I'm just like, no.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Well, it's like my better half. She has a couple parrot mugs, and she puts all of her pens in them. So it's like, that's I don't know. I can't see myself drinking. Actually, no, we use one of them. The first mug I ever had, we drank out of. But the rest of them, I'm like, no, they're too nice. Usually they're behind me, but I want to be able to show them off. Usually they're in my little shelf there. But I'm with you, our amazing, talented artist, and you also play Animal Crossing, which is how we met. But to get a little more know a little more about you. Growing up, did your parents approve of gaming? Did they also game, or is that just you?
Okay, so my parents and my mom especially did not approve of me gaming at all. Like not even those little handheld like Tetris consoles that just is Tetris.
Mm-hmm.
But she was like so afraid of me becoming addicted to playing games, and I spend most of my time like outside rollerblading, riding bikes, reading and drawing. Yeah, so my mom's disapproval to gaming like basically made me immune to like the allure of like video games, except for maybe Animal Crossing and The Sims. But the weird thing is like my younger brother, he was allowed to like play games. I don't know why. But he always had games, and like he's really into it and has like his own like gaming community. Like he's on Discord and stuff like that. Like yeah, so we were like complete opposites, and I never understood what the hell he was doing until like I started playing Animal Crossing and like meeting like all these people and like what a Discord is. Yeah, and like what is Twitch? Like my brother like mods for people and stuff like that, but like I had like no fucking idea what these things like really meant.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So but I guess because he was into gaming, he had like The Sims 4. He downloaded The Sims 4, and he would let me mess around with it like when he's not at home. So like I got quite like stuck on that for a bit. Yeah, but it's so time consuming that like I don't get to play it as often as I like. But yeah, I like The Sims for like just building and shit. Whereas Animal Crossing, it was because I saw like some promos during the pandemic, and I thought it looked super cute and like chill to play. I didn't even know that like you needed a Switch to play Animal Crossing because I don't know anything.
So did you buy the game before the Switch?
Okay, so my partner, who is now my husband, like he's actually really into video games, and he already had a Switch because when he was gonna buy one, he was like, "Should I get a Switch?" And I'm like, "What for?" But I guess now I understand why we have a Switch. So yeah, I bought the game, and 2 birthdays ago, like he bought me my own Switch Lite. Yeah, but Animal Crossing is like the only game I have on my Switch Lite. So yeah, that's my gaming history.
Oh well, I mean, everybody's got to start somewhere, I guess. But so do you play The Sims 4 or do you play The Sims? Do you like the older Sims better?
Um, well, I started on Sims 4, yeah, because I guess that was what was available.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't really know like the difference or anything.
Okay.
Not really. I'm not really. I can see you look disappointed. Like,
Oh
oh
no, I'm not
shit.
I'm not disappointed.
Should I have like
No, well,
interviewed Grae? That's not
I I have
game.
played all the Sims, so I'm like hardened
Oh shit.
of which ones I like, and the first one will always live in infamy in my head because I was like 10 or so playing it. And I played 2
Oh
and
shit.
3.
Okay.
So I love the Sims. Actually, Sims, I partially give credit to the Sims for making me want to get into architecture. So, um,
Okay. Cool.
but
Yeah.
so Sims kind of got me into architecture. But what? Oh,
Oh no, they're just like
they're
messing
playing around.
around. Sorry.
You have 2 cats, right?
Yeah.
No,
So we had to separate them because we don't want her to like try to lick his balls or whatever because it's still healing.
that's why he's got the neck pillow, right?
Yeah.
I've
Sorry.
never seen the neck pillow. It looked like it's relaxing. I
Oh
usually see
yeah,
the cone, like the
yeah,
cone
yeah.
shape.
So we got him the pillow instead because it's like softer, and it's a softer cone, like an alternative.
Um, well, what's his name?
Malachi.
Malik. Oh, I love that name. So
Yeah.
how did you get into art? I guess I don't know a little bit of the
Um.
origin of how you started. What got you inspired to do it?
Yeah, I guess when I was a kid, I loved like drawing and like just expressing my imagination like through drawing. Like I just love to like imagine stuff, and I read a lot of like children fiction books, so I would like to like imagine what those scenarios look like because they didn't have any pictures. So I would like draw stuff out, like mice having dinner in the hole in the wall kind of thing. Like I always drew that like the most for some weird reason. And yeah, like I remember my mom, she would I told her one day like I want to be an artist, and she was like, "One's gonna buy your cartoon drawings." Like, oh damn. So like
Oh well.
I started trying to draw like more realistically, I
Hmm.
guess. Like at one point, like I started because my mom she's actually like quite creative, and she can draw as well, like portraits and like stuff like that, but for fun. Um so I guess like for her to say that to me made me feel like, oh shit, like I'm not gonna like survive like just
Right.
drawing like crappy like kitty drawings. So like
Or
I
mice in the
started to
wall.
like really sorry, yeah, like little mice living in a hole, like their imagine their lives that you've never seen, that kind of thing. So like yeah, and I was 4, by the way, when she said this to
You were
me. So
4? Oh wow. She really shattered your
yeah,
dreams early. She said no games and no
well,
drawing.
yeah, but I mean, like no regrets. Like if not for that, like it's always stuck with me. So if not for that, I probably wouldn't have like really pushed myself to like learn to draw better and like yeah, understand like shapes or whatever. I don't
Hmm.
know, or really have the interest. Yeah. Um. Yeah. So like I would go for like art classes and like join art competitions, even though I didn't win because I still kept drawing like silly things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like yeah, it was fun. Like, I always loved. I guess as I got older, I didn't really like um do so much of it as a hobby anymore. I got more into like graphic design, and like I started learning how to like Photoshop like faces and people,
Hmm.
and like flare effects and stuff like
Right.
that. Yeah, so I guess like in the end I went on to like do graphic design instead. Yeah. So yeah.
And you went to school for it then? Decided to go to school.
Yeah, so I went to like university in Australia to like do my degree there.
Mhm.
So yeah, that was good times. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool going to a whole different country for university. I think if I were to go
Yeah,
back,
I
I would
mean,
want to,
yeah.
but that's
But I mean, like people go to like America to like do these things.
hmm
My I have friends who went to like school in New York and stuff like that. So yeah, like for us, going there means like you have to do something like that stands out. I guess. Yeah.
right. No, we had in high school we had students come from Germany, and then in
Right.
college we had like a whole group of students that came from Asia or Southeast Asia, whether it's Japan or wherever. And one of the students, I was like a resident assistant with her, and when we went to visit in Japan, we met her and her family for one day. We were driving through, so that was pretty cool. But that's the closest I got to
Nice.
um, any of those type of experiences. But I think it would have been if I could do it all over again. I think I would have wanted to learn overseas. I think that would have been cool. At least a different
Yeah, I
country,
think
like
yeah, yeah.
um. So you mentioned a little bit you use Photoshop. Is that your main program that you use, or what other programs do you use for art?
Well, currently I don't really use Photoshop as much. It's mainly for like I guess graphic design. Like if I'm doing um, a more text-based kind of post or something, or like a layout or editing photos, I would
Mhm.
use Photoshop. But for illustrations, like my commissions, which I offer like the vector art,
Mhm.
those are done with Adobe Illustrator.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's what I use most of the time now. Yeah.
Ah, okay. So like when you drew this, you were using like the vector art.
No, this was actually hand drawn.
That was all hand drawn then.
Like, yes, with my iPad.
With your eye. Oh, okay. With your okay. So you use a tablet so you can actually just draw
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Okay, that's cool. So wait. Let me ask you. I've been wondering. Like did you draw the letters?
Okay, these letters I didn't draw, but
Okay.
like I used the font and like
Kind
I
of messed around with
made
it.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's that's good to know because I knew you draw this the original parrot just to give example. I don't know why I keep sticking my middle finger out.
Yeah.
Um. Oh, now I'm blurry. There we go. Oh, that's I think most people use tablets from what I've seen, but I like to hear what people actually use. And you've been
Yeah.
doing. I mean, how long have you been like full time drawing, like for as your main
Well,
source of income?
okay, like I started doing art commissions in maybe the last quarter of 2020.
Oh,
Yeah, so
okay.
that's when I started doing like the vector ones
Mm-hmm.
initially. Um, because I initially created my Instagram account to sell amiibos.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with I wanted to make them with like my own designs,
Mm-hmm.
like cause like I felt that the designs out there were quite basic, or like sometimes they didn't even have designs. Like people just bought like blank ones with like the character written into them.
Right.
So I wanted to make like affordable ones and stuff like that. And at the time, when I also picked up Animal Crossing in 2020, I was actually unemployed for a while,
Mm-hmm.
because I actually have like a rare autoimmune illness. Um, it's called encephalitis, and it basically impacts like my basic cognitive thinking and skills because it's the inflammation of the brain, and it flared up like during the start of the pandemic, and
Right.
I had to like take it easy, and I had to move back with my mom and stuff like that to like look after my health. So I was really trying to figure out things being 30 and like needing to be financially independent somehow. And that's when I kind of saw a lot of people selling cute merch with like gaming characters. But I struggled with making those sales because I think like people local to me in Asia, would rather buy something cheap that fulfills its purpose rather than buy art from someone that they don't
Right.
really know.
Right.
And like shipping internationally at that time was like a huge nightmare because of like the pandemic. So it's like your package will get delayed, and like it's still like not cheap to like send a package, and
Right.
for to wait a long time, like it was just not like really worth it. So there was like a lot of like overheads, and it was difficult to keep like prices low. So I think my idea like flopped completely. Yeah, but I did gain like some followers from my Animal Crossing content, and I decided to do my first giveaway at like 100 followers.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I wanted to give away my amiibo since
Yeah.
like they were just like sitting there,
Right.
and I thought it would be like a good chance to like promote like my work and stuff. So
Right.
not many people entered, and like I didn't really have like any expectations, as it was my first time doing anything like this, and I still felt so thankful and like wanting to give something back to like the people for participating even though
Right.
they didn't win, because like everybody was just so kind and welcoming to each other, like in the community. Like it was like when you first join, like everybody's just like they're all so nice and polite, but now everyone's like rah, you know like yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know what happened but back then everyone was all like, oh, thank you so much,
Yeah.
like I love your work
Yeah.
so yeah, like I've just felt so like welcome and like thankful to like the people that I met there, and like yeah, so I just like went and like DM'd like a few people and just asked them like, hey, would you be interested in like a profile picture? Like
Mhm.
I just want to like try out my art, and like if you're keen, like you can use it as like your profile picture, and
Yeah.
maybe give me a shout out if you want.
Hmm.
So yeah, they were just like, sure, why not? And yeah, I got some like really great feedback from it, and it was like my classic style vector
Hmm.
illustrations.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I gave it out to like a few people, and then I decided to just like charge $5 for everything.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, so one thing led to another, and I started getting more confidence in my art, and like more people started to like find me and notice my work. Yeah, and I just started exploring like how far I could like push it visually,
Hmm.
and I also started to draw more on my iPad and slowly like find my style. Yeah, my first few drawings were like, I don't know, like when I look at them now, I'm just like, oh my God, like how did I even like post this? Like okay, I posted it to like my personal page,
Right.
but now I'm just like, oh, her forehead looks so big,
Yeah.
like why did I think this was like good, yeah. So yeah, so like I mean, I started from there, and like I just slowly like kept trying different things out, like how I colored the outlines and how I did shading and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
yeah, I just wanted to do stuff that felt in a way like natural to do. Like I had fun doing it,
Right.
and also look good in a way. So I don't know, like I was always like in this place where I always ask like how does one like find their style? because as a designer, you're always like catering to everybody's needs rather
Right.
than like, oh, here's my style, like I'm going to like do things my way.
Hmm.
So for once, it was like, I needed to find like my own like visual voice. Yeah, so I remembered I asked like this pretty famous lettering artist on Instagram. Her name is She's from Australia. Her name is Aurelie Marin, I think. Yeah, so she does like lettering, hand lettering and stuff like that. And I basically asked her like, how do you find your style? And she said like, just
And she
keep
responded.
yeah, like because she did this like question
Oh,
and answer thing, so I
okay.
just I just sent it, and she said like just keep drawing and trying, and your style will just come out naturally. And somehow that really actually worked. Like I
Really?
don't know, like after she said that to me, like I guess like it did. Like I can't even like explain what happened, but
Hmm.
yeah, like I just decided not to try so hard to like do stuff that I thought, oh, this looks cute, I want to do it. I
Hmm.
just did what I felt was natural.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So
So,
it is good advice, is to keep at it, and it'll just naturally figure out, right?
yeah, like don't try to like follow someone else's like style, like just do what is comfortable and just like keep tweaking and crafting like so yeah, that
What
it
kind
will
of
just like come out eventually.
Yeah, that kind of goes into my next portion, which is, tips for newbies or artists that are really trying to find their way. Do you have any tips for them to get better, or to get clients, or to kind of build a brand?
Well, yeah, so I guess I definitely did not plan for like myself to become like um an artist in any way. Like I still feel a bit weird calling myself an artist, so sometimes I'm just like, oh, I'm an illustrator. Um, but yeah, like you may get sick, you might lose your job, but you have to recognize like when to adapt to change, or just find another path if this one doesn't work out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess for advice for like people who want to like do art um for money, I would say have patience, discipline, and be able to articulate, because firstly you need to be patient because it takes time figuring a lot of things out that work and don't work. Creating anything that's worth selling does take a lot of time and experimentation before getting it right. Being able to recognize what does work and what does not work is equally important as what does.
Mm-hmm.
Like you must recognize what is wrong just as much as what's right, right?
Right.
Yeah, and secondly, like discipline. So, I mean, it's not always what you do, but how you do it. And having discipline in meeting deadlines, whether it's like a paying customer or not, it's always an opportunity to do like your art for someone. And taking too long to like deliver your work does like impact your image as someone
Right.
who is reliable. I can understand that like art takes time, and sometimes like you do need to like set a reasonable deadline, and sticking to it is important.
Right.
um but if you're unable to commit to a timeline, always like communicate with your customer, and don't wait for them to like come and ask you like, hey, what's going on,
Mhm.
like be the one to like take the
Yeah.
initiative.
Right.
So yeah, you can be extremely talented and like creative, but lacking discipline and initiative does make it difficult to like work with you.
Right.
And yeah, you're not just an artist when you open for commissions.
I
You're
see him
also
running
like,
around back there.
yeah, you're not just an artist like when you open for commissions. You're also a business person, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and lastly, like um, articulating, articulating like your intention is important in art, because it's easy to like draw cute things and make them look nice, but really finding a voice and creating a story behind your work comes from like really digging deeper. And
Mhm.
that's it. It's translating like concepts visually that can be challenging, but it's natural to keep crafting and refining your work. And to me, like that's what art really is about, seeing, yes, interpreting things in ways that are different from the norm.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's good
Yeah,
feedback. And I have one note, and like I've gotten tons of commissions on Instagram or whatever for artwork, and the people that like took long or like weren't very communicative, those are the ones I'm like, well, I'm not going back to you because I didn't know how long it was going to take, or it took you 3 weeks, and you told me a week originally, and I think that's a big part of it. People like to at least know a time frame because I'm paying you money, and
yeah,
you want to
exactly.
make sure you're not
Like,
get ripped
yeah.
off, in the
Yeah,
um
I mean, like, I know there's some people who are like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have to take like 2 weeks or like a month, but sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it comes off as a bit like I'm an artist, like respect like my art and my time kind of
right,
thing. But I mean, it's a two-way street, like you have to like give and take with like this other person who is coming to you for like your work and paying you for it, like you can't take that for granted and be like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna have to take my time because
right,
I'm an artist or
right.
whatever.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. Now, would you say gaming, like especially Animal Crossing, inspired some of your art? Because I remember some of the early stuff, and we'll try to maybe you could send me a couple photos. We'll throw them on the screen so people to see. But like sometimes they'd have like
Okay.
flurry on their shoulder, or they would like have. I think some of your artwork would have like if their favorite villager with them, right? But yeah, it seems like Animal Crossing kind of gave you the idea of putting a villager or a little character, and that's why I remember asking you, hey, can you put a parrot? You put one on my head in the that was one of my favorite Avatar arts.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, initially I just did them like standing next to each other kind of thing. It was somebody who actually asked me if they could hold their villager like a plushie, because
Mm,
I've seen like artists like do like plushie ones, but I didn't want to do it initially because I felt like, oh, it's already been done, so I
right.
don't want to do it unless like I feel like there was a reason to. And by this point I had done like quite a lot of like the original style that
Mm-hmm.
I used to do. So somebody suggested to me like, oh yeah, like I want to be holding like my villager. So I said like, okay, sure, like I'm willing to try out a new style, and also like maybe I can like charge a different price,
Right.
instead of like, yeah. So yeah, I started doing that, and I remember it was the first time like I got so many likes. I got over 100 likes, and I was like, wow, like people really like this. So, yeah, like yeah, I think it's really like an ongoing process of like how my style just keeps evolving.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's sometimes because of my own volition, or sometimes it is like because of the people around me who give me ideas and suggestions. Yeah.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to grow with someone. I'm not. I mean, I'm not in art per se, but in architecture, sometimes someone tells you, "Oh, I want it laid out like this." You're like, "Oh, that's a good idea," and you put it into the next
Yeah.
project. That's. I mean, really, that's growing, right? Do you have any favorite things you've made? Like, do you have a couple favorite photos or artist
Um,
creations you've made for clients? And if you want, you could send them afterwards, and I'll just pop them on the screen after post editing.
yeah, sure. I guess I okay, the thing is, I haven't posted them yet because like they were all quite recent. And I guess it's also because like I still don't feel that, I've done my best work. Like I'm always like just trying to like do better and better, like with like the
Right.
next one that I get and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, like I mean, I do feel like happy with like what I've been doing recently, compared to like when I used to work like my design job, and it was always like, oh no, this is is it does not make me happy enough, to be like, okay, yeah, I'm satisfied with how this went.
Mhm.
Whereas now when I like do art or drawing for somebody, I'm 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 more inclined to feel like good after, like, like I finished it, and I'm happy with how it turned out, and like the person that gets it is also happy,
Mhm.
so like, yeah, I I just feel that like each piece that I've done has progressively like gotten better in a sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh. Um. So sticking with clients, do you have any stories you want to tell with maybe not the greatest clients or ones that didn't ask for too much or just were never happy, or do you have any stories for that?
Okay. Well, honestly, I'm really lucky that I've maybe only had like 2 or 3 clients that ever said, "Can you change something?"
Mhm.
And it's not really like my fault. It's maybe like, "Oh, actually, I want it to be a different color," or like my eye color is wrong, that kind of thing.
Right.
So it's never like a big change where like, I don't like the idea or the concept or the pose or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's the thing about what I like about this job as well, because I never need to do like changes,
Right.
like in design there's always like, oh, the client came back with changes. You go through like 5 rounds of changes before
Mhm.
like, it's the final thing, and even at the final thing there's still changes. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I guess that's why I like this job so much. Like I just people want what I have to offer, and that's
Right.
great. Yeah, but now I probably can talk about it because it's been quite some time. But earlier on, when I first started doing commissions for only $5 and was like still like relatively new, like, um, there was this guy who DM'd me, and he wanted me to do a profile picture for him, and then and he said that he couldn't pay money. So I was like, he couldn't pay, he didn't want to pay money, or he couldn't pay money, and he wanted to pay me in NMT, in Nook Mall tickets.
Nook Mile tickets.
Like,
at first,
yeah.
at first, I thought you were saying NFTs, and I'm like, I mean,
uh,
those could make you money, but so he wanted to play you in Animal Crossing currency, basically.
yes, he wanted to do in-game like trade, and I was like, okay, so in my mind I was like kind of like thinking I wanted to actually do a giveaway pretty soon, and at the time I didn't know who to like ask for to get like more, like, more stuff. So I figured like I'll just ask like, how much and Nook Mall tickets can you give me?
Right.
And he said he had 400. Okay, so that's like a pocket full. And at the time, 2020, a pocket full of tickets is like a huge
Right.
load of like tickets, right? So I was like, wow, okay, like this could go great for my giveaway,
Right.
Like, I guess the trade-off is like $5. And he was like, okay, yeah, like I can give you 400 tickets, but I also want uh 3 highlight covers. Like, yeah,
Oh, so he
highlight
was
cover art. And I
negotiating.
was like, yeah. So I was like, in my mind, I was like, okay, like, because he told me he was from the Philippines, and I kind of thought he was like maybe a kid, because like only kids don't have money
Mm-hmm.
to pay for stuff. And I was like, oh, like I feel bad, but somehow this kid has lots of like Nook Mall tickets. So
Right.
I guess we could help each other out. Like, yeah, so I just said like, okay, sure. And he was really friendly, and like really like energetic and stuff. But I was starting to regret it, because he was like, I can come to your island, and I can give you the tickets now. And then we can take photos of my character for you to like use as reference. So I was like, yeah, sure, you can bring the normal tickets. And I opened my gate, he came, and he was just like I don't know, taking pictures on his own, like just like
Doing his
posing around my island. Yeah, like he did like the intense reaction a lot.
oh
Like he
the
was just like staying there. I was just like, what is this guy doing? He was not talking to me. He
right.
was just posing all over my island. And I was just like confused, but I was like, okay, whatever. So like he went like shopping. He went to Abel's to shop and stuff like that. And then I was like, okay, like I'll just like entertain him for a while before I like ask like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
where's the Nook Mall tickets? I was like, you can drop them now. And then he finally said like, okay, I'll give you half first, and then when you finish like doing the work, I'll give you the next half. And I was like, what? Like,
Like,
I'm not even
huh?
charging you money. Like,
Yeah, you're not even charging money.
like, why don't you trust me? Like, what do you have to lose? And like I told him like straight up like, hey, like I can't do that, like
Right.
I'm already making an exception for you, like I never do this for anybody, and I want to use the tickets for a giveaway, like you will be helping, like your tickets will be not going really to me
Right.
but to other people. So he was just like, oh, okay, like fair enough. So he went back and he got his tickets and he dropped them all on my beach. And then he wanted an island tour, so like I said like, okay, like we can like walk around my island for a bit and stuff. So
After he
I was
already
like,
ran
whatever,
around taking photos.
like he was running around like the able sisters taking photos at the entrance. So I was like, okay, like, do you want to see the rest of my island,
Right.
since you're here? And he was like, okay. So yeah, he went to one of my reps' house. He like just kept like doing the intense there by himself the whole time. Like we didn't take photos together. He was just like taking photos himself. So he did that for like quite a while. And then like I think we were maybe only like 3/4 done, and he was like, Grae, I'm so sorry, but my eyes are closing already. I need to take a nap. And I'm like, all right. Like, but I was just so over it that
Yeah.
I didn't really give a damn, like just
Yeah.
go.
Just
Just go.
please leave.
Yeah, so he left, and then like I was like, and then like he just said to me like, okay, like let me know when you're done and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. So I I I I went back and like I went to pick up the tickets, right? And I noticed that, so like 400 tickets would mean 40 stacks of tickets, right?
Right.
Yeah, 40 stacks with 10 tickets each. So he had dropped 40 of them, but one stack only had one ticket in it.
Oh.
There was one stack that was missing 9 tickets.
Uh,
And I was just like, seriously? But at this point, I was like, you know what? I don't
yeah.
wanna, I don't wanna do this anymore. Like, I'm just gonna do
Yeah.
it, and he'll just be out of my life.
Right.
So, yeah, I just felt like so like ugh, gross doing it, but like I did artwork for him, and like I made like three highlight covers for him that matched, and I mean, it was like, about 3 or 4 things to do, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it would take me at least like 1 or 2 days. And he would message me like between the day being like, hi, how's it going? Hi, are you done
Mm.
yet? Like, are you almost done? And I was just
Uh,
like, no, like, leave me
I,
alone.
w-
So yeah,
I would have gone to one of those like profile maker websites, like the Pixar, whatever those things are called. Like, here you go.
yeah, so like I was just like whatever, and like eventually I sent it to him the next day, and he was like, "Oh my God, thanks, I love it," and he posted it to his page, but I guess he wanted it to match his feed, so he posted two versions of it. My original version was in the second slide. The first one was like with like a huge, heavy, like grungy filter on top of it,
Mm.
and I was like,
Mm.
okay, yeah. So was like, it's okay. He's just a weird kid. Like,
Yeah.
kids are weird. I shouldn't work with kids. Like,
Yeah.
like I have no
Yeah.
business talking to children. Like, don't, because this was like new. I've never done this before. Like, are you allowed to talk to children? I don't know, but I was just like, gross. Like, I don't want to help this person. I don't want to help children anymore. Like, they should not be talking to me. So I left it and I didn't want to say anything. Yeah, but it stuck with me. So I remembered like um, I got close to like Lottie Crossing. Like
Mhm.
she was like one of my first friends, and I told her this story about what happened,
Mhm.
and this was like maybe a few weeks after, and she went to his profile to take a look, and she was like, well, he's either 12 or 21. Unless he's 12, but he wrote 12 backwards because it says that he's 21 years old. And I was like, so he's an adult?
He's an
And she was
adult.
like, yeah, basically, it says that he's studying in university in his profile or something, like in his highlights or like his about me's. And I was like,
You were like, meow. Well,
yeah.
I mean,
So after that, I was like,
well,
I am
you,
never,
you learned a good lesson.
I am never doing anything for free or like fake money.
Yeah. I don't really have a similar. I don't have a story like that, but I've definitely had people that tell me, and you may have had this as well. They'll be like, I don't have money, but I could give you publicity, and it's like that doesn't pay the bills. Like you sharing it doesn't pay, or like I've people, oh, can you draw my house for me? But I don't want to pay you this much, but I have a lot of friends, and I'm just like, friends don't pay bills. Like, I feel like a lot of
Well,
times people don't always realize how much work goes into art or anything that's creative
yeah.
in a sense, you know?
Well, besides this guy, nobody has actually like really like said like can you do like work for free for
Mm-hmm.
me, which is good, like
Right.
yeah.
I mean, you're
But I
pretty,
mean, there have been people.
yeah. I mean, you're pretty legit
Yeah,
now. I
but
remember
that
at
yeah.
one point, I probably knew at least 20 or 30 people with like profile photos that had your artwork. And at that point, it's like, oh, I want to be part of it. You know, I want to be cool. You know, get the Grae stamp of approval. Um,
Yeah.
but sticking with kind of that uh the dark parts of the internet, how do you deal with like scammers, people that are trying to scam you out of free art or just trying to get information out of you for your stuff?
Yeah. Okay. I honestly don't think they care about the art.
Mm-hmm.
They are just trying to like get your email and get your details to send you a link
Mm-hmm.
and basically pretend that they sent you money and there was a problem, so you have to log in again and like verify stuff. So when you log in, it's
So you're
basically
logging
giving your
back into
information.
Instagram, or is it?
No, this is even worse. This is like your PayPal or something, like those like I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you have something similar there. Like it's like a marketplace sort of app where
Mm-hmm.
like you can sell like your secondhand items and stuff like
Right.
that. Yeah, so like there has been a scam like locally here where like people um somebody says that they want to buy their stuff, but they're like, okay, I want to use this specific like payment gateway, like similar to like PayPal,
Mm-hmm.
to like make my payment and let me know if you get it.
Right.
And then they say like, oh no, I didn't get it, and they're like, oh okay, go and check your email, see if like you got a message, or whatever, and yeah, they get a message, but it's not from like a legit like company or whatever. Yeah, it's a phishing email to basically like get you to key in your details so they can access your bank account or like
Oof.
that payment gateway to basically take your money.
Oof. Wow. Wow. Well, I guess
Yeah,
I guess the lesson there is don't click on the links they send you. Like go to a third
yeah,
part, go to the actual website yourself in your browser and don't click on those
Yeah.
links because I mean, you and I both know people just on Instagram alone that have lost their accounts because
Yeah.
they took it over and now it's all Bitcoin crap and get a block and report,
Yeah.
which sucks,
Yeah.
you
I
know?
mean, it sucks, but I guess it will suck even more if like somebody like have your money.
Very true. True.
Like, I don't have money for you to take.
Right. Yeah.
Like, don't take my
please,
no money.
please don't take the $10 out of my account. I was gonna get some dinner.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we've kind of talked about everything for art, unless there's anything else you wanted to talk about how you come up with the styles or how you change your styles, how they've kind of evolved through time.
I think I kind of like went over that, right?
Yeah.
So,
All right.
fine.
All right. So some of these questions may be a little out in left field, but as an American, I always like asking to people that aren't from the U.S. In your country, can you pick out Americans in the wild as tourists, and how do you?
For sure. I mean, it's probably like the easiest accent to identify. I mean, unless you confuse them for like Canadians, you know. Um, but basically, they are super loud and yeah,
Just loud.
yeah, just loud.
Just loud.
But
Okay.
okay, like Western people are generally loud, like yeah. But I feel like Americans, they tend to speak really loudly, like in public, you know,
Hmm.
like it's as if there's nobody around.
Right.
They're just
Right. Interesting.
like, Joe, hey,
Huh. So you're telling me to blend
you're over
in.
here, man.
All I have to do is be quiet and I'll blend in.
Yeah, like, you know.
Well, one thing I noticed when we were traveling through parts of Asia is that I would wear sunglasses. And not a lot of, at least from the
Yeah,
countries I visit, not a lot of Asian people wear sunglasses. Like,
yeah, like
daily.
I noticed that too, actually. Like,
I mean, I wore these ones and everybody was looking at me. Yeah.
I wonder why. No, but like I agree with you on that. Like I realized that, you know, people here don't really wear sunglasses
Interesting.
like because it's sunny. Like even though it
Mhm.
is sunny here all year round,
Mhm.
people don't like just wear sunglasses like casually that often
Mhm.
at all. Yeah. So I noticed this because when I studied in Australia, I realized that everybody would wear sunglasses when it's sunny.
Mm.
But yeah, like here it's sunny all year round, but everybody just squints like.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. We both learned a little something there. And going back to gaming a little bit, do you have any gaming pet peeves? I mean, obviously you don't want someone running around your Animal Crossing island, just doing the intent look. But do you have any other gaming pet peeves?
Intense, yeah. Um, Not really. I would just say like I just don't like it if like, you know, there's a bad connection and then you're just like you gotta wait. Oh, okay. No,
Right.
I think okay. I think my pet peeve is if you have like a play date with like a few people and like one of you is like really late because I don't know, like we can see you online, you know, like what are you doing?
They're over there
Like
playing
why are
Mario
you still
Kart, and you're.
like why are you still on your island? What are you doing there, you
Mm,
know? Like trying to find your way to like the airport. I don't
yeah.
know, like yeah, so
Yeah.
basically
That's my favorite thing, calling somebody out on stream when they're like, "All right, I'm gonna go take a nap, or I gotta go do something real quick," and I see them logging in the top left, you know, so and so logged in the Animal Crossing New Horizons, and I'm like, "You're not
yeah,
working,
like
and you're not watching stream. I'm gonna call you out, bad.
yeah. Yeah,
just
it's
just
like yeah,
jokingly, of
if
course.
it's
I don't
yeah.
mind, but
Yeah, if it's like a group date and like like one person just happens to like we're all waiting at the airport already
Right.
kind of thing, like doing all the
Mm-hmm.
reactions. Like it can be kind of like like yeah. I mean yeah, because it's not like you're not even online. It's like yeah, if you can see that person is online, like
Right.
it's just
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I learned that you can turn it off, but then you
Yeah.
can't actually play online with people.
Oh.
So it shows like I turned it off at one point because I was like, I don't want people to know when I'm logging in at night playing whatever. And then I wasn't able. Maybe I did something wrong, but I wasn't able to like play with anybody. It was like, no, your online thing is like turned. It was weird. Maybe I just need multiple accounts.
Oh,
Maybe that'd make it easier. Um,
maybe.
So do you switching a little bit more? Do you read? And if you do you have any books that you would recommend?
Yeah, like I do like reading, although I don't read as much these days.
Mhm.
But I do really like books by Haruki Murakami. Um, he's Japanese, but his books have been translated in English, and um, he has this way of writing which is I don't know, like I don't know how to explain it because I'm not like a literature person or whatever. So it's fiction, but it's told in such a way that's like, very Japanese storytelling, with that like whole like that feeling of like
Right.
you like watch like heartwarming animes or like, like Midnight Diner sort of like that sort of shows. Yeah.
Hmm.
So his book kind of like has that sort of feeling, and it's also like not just like real life fiction. It has some like weird stuff that like
Are
have
they like
like
fan? What kind of genre are the books? Are they like more fantasy or like more like real life?
it's a bit of a mix. Like
Okay.
it's real life, but there's like a fantasy element.
Send me the link and we'll put them at the bottom somewhere. We'll so people can find it for themselves.
Yeah, he's the one who wrote Norwegian Wood.
Hmm.
I think it was made into a movie.
My favorite thing about books that turn into movies is I don't have to read the books anymore. I can just watch the movie.
Yeah.
As someone who's always working on whether a tablet or a computer, is there an item that you can't go without using on your day-to-day basis? But do you have an item in general and like something on your desk or in your house that you have to use
Yes.
every day?
Yes. It is a coaster.
That's a good answer. And that's a fancy coaster. Can you
Yeah, I actually
can you
made
show it
this.
close? You made that?
Yeah,
Okay, that is cool.
I made. Yeah. So hang on. Ow. I made this one too. Like this one's gray.
So what material
Yeah.
is that made out of?
So it's this material that's like similar to resin, or it's a type of resin. It's
Mm-hmm.
called jasmonite,
Jazz.
but it feels like concrete.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's like apparently like um flame proof, and it's like yeah, it's like fireproof or something. So like you can like burn like little incense on it or whatever, or like
Mm-hmm.
use it as a tray. But I usually put like a sealant on it so that you can put like cups on it and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh. Well, soon
yeah.
you'll be
So
seeing
I yeah.
in the Grae merch store coasters.
Well, I actually have a page for it. But it's being very slowly updated because I don't know. Selling physical stuff is
It's
challenging for
difficult.
me,
Yeah.
and yeah, and that's the other reason why like I like doing digital commissions because
Mm-hmm.
all I have to give is my time.
Right.
So yeah, there's like yeah. Whereas like stuff like this, like it takes me a day and I have to sand it down and stuff, sand the edges, and then after that like treat it with like a sealant and stuff like that. So yeah, like it definitely is like a bit of an intensive labor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
But like hopefully maybe someday I'll be able to sell them. I don't know.
Well, you send me the link and I will put it somewhere in the description so people can click on it, at least get an idea of what you got. If anything,
Well,
the digital art.
it's called it's called Land of Grae.
Land of Grae. Land of
Yep.
Grae. All right, I'm writing this down because I'm old school. I like writing things down. I like having a to-do list, and I write things down, and I'll actually do it versus putting it in the notes in my phone.
I've note taking like everywhere, like on my iPad, on my phone, and like.
Well, that's like for hashtags. I put all my hashtags like for whether it's streaming or Animal Crossing. It's all like in my notes, so I can just copy and paste them on social media.
Exactly.
Because hashtags are too much to type. I used to like type them in, and then someone was like, just copy and paste them, and I was like, that's an amazing idea. That's an amazing idea. Rambling Gamers podcast, and if you guys don't follow us, go follow it. We're on YouTube if you want to actually watch it and see what we look like. Otherwise, we're on Apple, Spotify, yeah, on there. So yeah, exactly. Check out the mug. But thanks, Grapes. It's a nickname I gave you. For being on here, and I mean that's all I really got for you. And make sure to go follow Grae on all the social media platforms that she has, and go get a commission right now. Go get one so you can actually get some of the amazing work that she creates. And if you got merch, she does merch. She does all of mine, and wouldn't have it any other way.
It's gonna be party times.
Oh well, I'm sure you'll be out there. Woo.
Well, not really, honestly. I'll just be like, oh, hi, I'm here.
Yeah. Well, Happy New Year.
Like,
Happy New Year for you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Happy
Now,
New Year to
do you guys
everybody.
have any like traditions or anything you do for the New Year? Like
Yeah. So the eve of the Lunar New Year, we have a reunion dinner.
Mhm.
So I had mine with my in-laws
Mhm.
over the weekend, and I will have my one with my mom and my family on the eve itself. Yep. So yeah, like my uncle and my aunt will come over and stuff like that. Like, you know, whoever's still alive in the family. And yeah, like and then on the day itself we just like go visiting. Like we visit each other's houses. I guess it's like Christmas in a way. You know, like you just go to like people's houses and like just show up with oranges.
Oranges. I do remember him. Yep.
Yep. To like basically bring luck
Right.
when you visit. So yeah, during like the 14 or 15 days of like Chinese New Year, the first 14 or 15 days, if you go to someone's house, you gotta bring some oranges, like as like a pair.
You know what?
A pair of oranges.
Unintentionally, I bought oranges this last week, so maybe in the back of my head, I knew that it was good luck for the.
Because it's Chinese New Year, yeah.
Well, I know you're also proud of me because I don't wear my shoes in the house, so I know I'm in your good graces for that. All right. Well, there we go. We'll cut it there, and thank you again for being on, and I hope you have a good rest of your day and a happy New Year.
Thank you. I had such a fun time talking to you, man.